Hi friends, welcome back to Brilliant Blue Reviews. My name is Heather, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you what I can of a review of Lee Goldberg's book Fallen Star, which is the 6th book in the Eve Ronin series. I hate to do this because the author, Lee Goldberg, actually just in the past week commented on 2 of my reviews of his books. I did a full review of Ashes Never Lie. Yes, Ashes Never Lie, which is in the kind of companion series, the Sharp and Walker series, which is about arson investigators in the LA County Sheriff's Department. And Eve Ronin and her partner Duncan Pavone from this series are in that series too, or at least in that book, and the one after it. Hidden in Smoke, which was the 3rd book in that series, I did not like at all. Could not finish, and so I only made a short about it. But he commented on both of those, and I was so excited. Thank you, Lee, for watching my videos, watching my reviews, and commenting on my reviews of your books. And now I feel so terrible because I don't like this one either. And I had the same thing happen with this one that happened with Hidden in Smoke. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about my background with these books. I also do want to make a quick plug, though, for one standalone, at least I think it's a standalone, which was Calico by Lee Goldberg. It's actually it's time travel, which is really kind of fun. And that was a really fun book. I just checked to see what my rating was on that, and I gave that solid 4 stars. I really liked that book. It had a lot of the fun qualities and the kind of watching a movie while you're reading feel to it that I initially got from Lee Goldberg's books when I first started reading the Eve Ronin series, which is the first book of his that I read, was the first Eve Ronin book. So if you want something that's just a standalone and you don't necessarily want to get into a series, but you want to kind of see what Lee Goldberg's style is like, I would definitely recommend Calico. That was a really cool book, and I thought it was a lot of fun. The Eve Ronin series is on book 6. Now, I did just check, and he actually is already writing book 7, which is called Split Screen. I don't know the date that it's being published, but book 6, here, Fallen Star, yeah, is 2025. So I think he writes one book in the series a year. I don't know. Gosh, he's a writing maniac, I tell you. I first read the first book in the series, Lost Hills, a few years ago. I think I read it when it was brand new. So if there's been one a year, that must have been like about 2019 maybe that came out. And I wanted to check my ratings. So right before I came to film this video, I checked my ratings on all the previous Eve Ronin books in this series. So Lost Hills, I gave 4 stars. Bone Canyon, the 2nd book, I gave 4 stars. My favorite was Gated Prey, which was book 3. And I gave that one 5 stars. I really liked that one. Then Movie Land, I dropped back down to 4 stars. And then Dreamtown, which was book 5, I only gave 3 stars. And now this one, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna only give it 2. Now, this is purely on my enjoyment of the book, not on Lee Goldberg, the author's writing ability or the quality of the writing or anything like that. He's a very good, solid writer. I just am starting to wane on my enjoyment of the Eve Ronin series, and I hate to say it, but I think I'm gonna give it up. Because this one, the same thing happened that happened with me with the companion series, the Sharp and Walker series. So in that series, which takes place in the same universe, if you will, because the characters even cross over. Malibu Burning, I gave 4, I think. Ashes Never Lie, the 2nd book, I gave 5 stars. Loved that one. But then Hidden in Smoke, I couldn't finish it. I just could not get into it. And this same thing happened with this book. So I have gotten this now from the library twice, and I am still only on chapter 9. I just can't get into it. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about why. But okay, so the first time I got it, part of my problem is this is a new book and it's a 14-day book. Now, normally with all the previous books I've read by Lee Goldberg, that was no problem. I could usually read them in a week to 10 days, which is actually pretty fast for me. At my peak, I could have maybe read 4 novels in a month, so about 48 books a year. As I've gotten older, I'm slowing down, and especially this year, and I'm going to make another video about this, I have just really struggled with reading because I fall asleep too quickly at night, and I always liked to read in bed at night. So something's got to be really engaging and really holding my attention, or I have to be really invested in the story to be able to read in bed at night now at this point. And so I'm finding myself having to try to find time during the day to read things if I want to finish them, and that's proving to be really challenging for me. But I would say that on average, I was, 24 to 36 books a year for me is about my good pace. So 2 to 3 novels a month. I think, though, I might even have to reduce it in 2026 because I'm just having so much trouble. But that's on me. That's not necessarily about the books, but it kind of is too, because if they're engaging enough and if I'm really into them enough, I can keep myself awake, to read at night. What I'm kind of discovering, because I read a lot of series. I do like books that are in a series, and I did like this series, at least through book 4, very much. It's only been with book 5 and 6 that I've started to my interest has started to kind of wane, and I'm getting kind of weary of it. That kind of brings up the topic, before I talk specifically about this book and how far I got, that brings up the topic of when to decide when to quit a book or a series, okay? Well, I am very much of the mind, and I've talked about this before, that if you're not digging it, if you're not into the book, if it's kind of a chore for you to, force yourself to keep reading, just put it down. Return it to the library, give it away, whatever. That doesn't mean that that's a bad book. It just means that maybe it wasn't a good match for you. Maybe somebody else is going to like that book more than you do. I mean, I certainly don't read the same things that my daughter reads or my friends read or whatever. We all have different interests and things that we like. But if it's not working for you, don't force yourself to read a book. I mean, once we're out of school and we're not required to read books anymore, reading should really be for enjoyment. So if you're not enjoying the book, I would say just stop reading. Don't force yourself to finish it. Don't think, but I already read books 1 through 5 in the series. I have to finish this. No, you don't. You can just stop. You really can. It's okay. And then I guess the other thing is with a series, how I kind of realize I've decided, because I have quit other series by other authors before. And what kind of ends up being the deciding factor for me is, first of all, am I declining in my ratings over time like I did with this? So, I had 4 or 5 stars, and then it went down to 3, and now it's 2, and I seem to be losing enjoyment with the series. Okay, so that's one thing that will help me make that decision. Another thing is if I just don't think the author should still be writing the books anymore. Now, that's not necessarily the case in this one, but I can think of a couple other series that I've quit where I'm kind of like, let it go. I think you're done. What I kind of look for in a series that I really like and will be able to complete the series. Couple things. One, I really got to like and have a good rapport, I guess, with the characters. The core main characters that are present in every book. I have to be invested in those characters. I have to feel connection with those characters. Another thing I would say is that I really don't like, and that brings me back to this book specifically and Hidden in Smoke. Now, the author, Lee Goldberg, when he commented on my Hidden in Smoke short, he said that he brought back these characters, Danny and these other characters from the first book from Malibu Burning to Hidden in Smoke, because so many people requested it. But that was the thing that I specifically did not like about that book, was that he brought those characters back, because they were my least favorite part of the first book. So that just goes to show that different people have different opinions. I didn't like Hidden in Smoke because he brought those characters from Malibu Burning back. I wanted him to just focus on the cases, on the arson cases. In this book, he's doing kind of the same thing. Especially this one, he started bringing back characters from previous books that I don't even remember who they are. And I don't want to have to sit there and think, who was that? And have to go back to the library and check out that other book again to reread it and go, I don't remember what happened with them or whatever. And he does explain it kind of generally, but I don't like that feeling. I don't want so many characters to be recurring from, 6 books ago that I have to sit there and rack my brain going, what was the deal with them, or why did they come back? I mean, I just want to have that core group of characters, and then I really like it when each individual novel could be read on its own in the series, so that you wouldn't necessarily have to have read anything else in the series, and it would still be a really good book with a good beginning, a good middle, a good ending, all on its own. That to me is the sign of a really quality series, and you're going to sell more books that way and people are going to be able to pull any book on of the series off the shelf and not be lost and not feel like I'm missing something or there's something I don't remember here. And I just feel like he got a little bit too much into that in this series. Like he's bringing too many things in from the past that I don't remember, and I've read every book in order as they've been published. So if I can't remember them, how many other people are having that problem? You know what I mean? And it makes me feel like it's more like almost like a TV series, which is funny because there's a TV series in the book that went on too long, you know, like, or that they tried to bring characters back and people who just started watching this year don't know who those people are. And so they feel lost, you know, stuff like that. So that's what it kind of started to feel like. The other signs that I really am enjoying a series of books, one is when I look forward to each additional book, to reading it. Each new book that's published, I am just as excited about reading it as I was all the previous ones. And there can be some long series where this is true. I will give you an example. One is Her Royal Spinous Mystery Series by Rhys Bowen. I am on book 19 or something. There's a lot of them. And every book I read, I'm just as excited to read it and I enjoy it just as much as I did the previous books. Now, sometimes I might like one a little bit more than others, but I don't think I've ever rated anything in that series less than a 3, and they're probably all 4s and 5s, honestly. And I look forward to her writing more in that series all the time. Another thing that indicates to me that a series is really good is if I'm sad when it ends. Okay, an example of this, Ashley Weaver's The Electra McDonald series, which I just finished just earlier this year. I was so bummed when I realized that that was the last book, but she kept it short. I think it was only 4 or 5 books, I think. And she wrapped it up so nicely in that final book that I wasn't disappointed anymore that it was the final book when I read that last book, because she did such a nice job of, you know, circling back around and wrapping up the series and ending it in such a really satisfying way. Those are some signs of a good series and books that I want to continue. But when it gets like this, where I start to feel like, I don't remember who these people are, this is getting kind of, I don't know, it starts to feel like it drags. Now, some people don't feel this way, because when I went and rated this on Goodreads just now before I made this review, there were plenty of people who rated it 4 and 5 stars. So some people still really like the series, and you might too. And I was actually really excited about it because I had literally just been to the exact spot he starts this book at. A 55-gallon drum washes up in the Malibu Lagoon, stuffed with the corpse of this guy. Okay, so there's a dead guy in a barrel that washed up in Malibu Lagoon. I literally just drove out past Malibu Lagoon, like, I don't know, 6 weeks before I started this book the first time. My son and I were out looking at universities for him in Southern California. We went to UCLA and University of Southern California, and we went out to Pepperdine in Malibu, and drove right past the park where they talk about this. So I was really excited to read about that because I knew exactly he's describing it. You know, he does a really good job of drawing you a picture in your mind that you can picture. And I was like, oh yeah, I was right there. I was just right there, you know, like just a little bit ago. So I was excited about that. But as I got into it, you know, chapter 6, chapter 7, I just wasn't getting into it. And the same thing happened with me with Hidden in Smoke. And because this was a 14-day loan, this is a new book at my library, I could not finish it in time to get it back within the 14 days. And I couldn't renew it because there were like 67 people waiting for this book. So I had to return it without finishing it, and I'd only gotten through chapter 8. Well, then I didn't have anything to read for a little bit. I started this book, which I had bought because this is Irish, and I will be making the video about this one next. Decided, no, I really want to try to finish this book in November before I start reading Christmas books, because I like to read Christmas novels at Christmas time in December. And so I put it back on hold again, and I just got it back a few days ago. Same thing. So I've had this home now for, I don't know, 3-4 days. Still haven't gotten any. I got 1 chapter. And I'm like, nope, I'm done. I can't finish it. So it's the same thing. It's Eve Ronin and her partner Duncan and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department solving crimes. It seems on premise like it would be good, but again, like I just feel like he was bringing too many things back from previous books that I just don't remember. And so I don't care, you know? And it just doesn't feel the same as the first ones did, like books 1 through 4. It just doesn't seem as fun to me anymore. Like it's getting kind of, so yeah. I'm sorry, Lee. Please forgive me. But you may love it. Lots of people are still giving this book 4 and 5 stars. So if you like Hollywood, Southern California, police stuff in Southern California, the movie business, making TV shows, all of that stuff is in here. If you've read the other books in the Eve Ronin series and you like them and you still are giving them 4 or 5 stars, keep reading because maybe you'll give this one 4 or 5 stars too. It didn't do it for me. I think I'm done with the Eve Ronin series, but I still do like Lee Goldberg a lot, and so I will definitely be keeping my eye out for other things that he writes in the future. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming book reviews. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you next time.